How are you today?
Everything's fine. Where are you located?
So rock climb, mountain climb. So I have a place in Springdale, Utah, outside Zion National Park.
What kind of rock climbing do you do?
Ones that have never been done before.
I think the people that do those no rope, flat surface, straight climb, that's pretty crazy too.
It's not crazy if you go with the flow. Where you get killed is if you go, you know this. If you're in concert playing, you know this. This is why you're good and I'm not as good as you. I'll be thinking, what note am I playing next? Was that right or wrong? And by the time I've thought that, the whole band's like ahead of me and I've crashed and burned. That's how you die climbing. So it's staying in the zone.
Yeah, no thinking this.
No
Right.
thinkingness. And if you start to think, if you're climbing, scaling some kind of rope, you come freaking down. People ask me, what do you do when you get scared, terrified? I'm like, I come down. Like, you do? And I'm like, yes, go back another day. The guy who soloed El Cap without a rope, he actually didn't feel good when they were filming it because of the vibe of being filmed. And he went and did it when nobody was looking. He couldn't, he realized if someone's watching him, I'm going to get taken out of the mindset. I'm be thinking about being watched. I won't be present. And
Yeah,
it's dangerous. And, he went back and did it again, or however they looped it together, and he's done it again. But he had that stopgap to say, no,
that's great. So what do you want to do today?
let's do recording. Ready to do a show. I'll give you a little introduction.
Let's roll with it.
My guest today is John Novello. John is an award-winning jazz keyboardist, composer, best-selling author, and personal development mentor. He says there is a designer, a dream weaver within each of us, and that once recognized, it takes our wishes, dreams, and desires, our thoughts and beliefs, big or small, good or bad, and manifest them into reality. Well, you may have heard this kind of thing before. John has written hit songs, so perhaps there's something to this. His method, his ability to channel the artist within, how to listen to your inner voice and take action to create something real from your thoughts and beliefs. I wanted to talk to John to understand how his process works. And for those who think life is already good, I agree. I like the saying, how does it get better than this? Welcome to my show, John.
Thank you for the introduction. I'm looking forward to our discussion.
So tell me your story.
When I was 3 years old, I was sitting in front of the TV and I saw a keyboard. Now, at 3 years old, dada goo goo. All I know is I saw the keyboard and my parents were next to me. I was on the floor. I pointed to the keyboard, kind of like something resonated with me about the keyboard. And they immediately understood that I had some affinity for this. So later on, a few years later, I started taking lessons. So that voice is what made me point to the keyboard. It was so clear. It was like, point to the keyboard. You know what I mean? It was like an order, a
Hmm.
command. Now, at 3 years old, I didn't have much discerning power. I wasn't sort of aware of being aware, as I call it. I was just, you know, almost being genetic and just responding to the inner voice that I didn't know what it was. I think we all have that intuition, inner voice, but we are so distracted and ignorant of how to interact with it, become aware of it, and allow it to help us that we ignore it. It's almost like a radio station that's broadcasting some incredible stuff, but you don't even know there's a radio, let alone how to turn it on, let alone how to tune it into the right station and be on that frequency.
What's quick and simple, the first thing you could try today?
Right. Well, the quick little approach I call going into the silence. We have to get rid of all these distractions, survival and relationships, and God knows nowadays with 24/7 news and social media and everything. Going into the silence means to null all that stuff out and then just be. Be means not doing anything, just existing. Now, a lot of people in Buddhism and Hinduism and Eastern philosophies call that meditation and trying to achieve nirvana. We don't have to go that far.
I don't like meditation because to me, The Buddhists are doing more activities than anybody else.
I agree.
They're never not doing something.
No, I know. I know. So this quick approach is just to simply close your eyes and don't do anything, but be the observer of your thoughts. And just starting that process, and by becoming the observer, you become very aware of your internal thought universe, as I call it.
Which the
And
first thing that comes to mind is, oh, I have a Zoom call, in an hour, and I've got a paper for school or work I'm supposed to work on, and all that stuff's coming in. This is kind of like meditation almost.
yeah, but that's what happens initially because you're not used to going deep enough. So you become the observer of all those thoughts. Don't interact with those thoughts. Just like it's kind of like, oh, okay. You'll be surprised after a while, all that stops. And the next thing you know, you're really into the silence. And then what happens is your real oversoul, higher self, that voice that we're talking about, starts talking to you, and you sort of, what's the word? You become aware that it's not your thoughts. When that happens, now you've catalyzed that, and you're going, oh, wait a minute, that's not me. That's not me. Well, what is that? And that's when you start getting hooked up and channeled into that power, and then invite it into your life to help you. Now, luckily, I didn't have to do that. It just happened. I don't know why.
You are lucky, but thanks for
Yes,
sharing it with us. I'm with you with you're not engaging with your thoughts, but
you're
then
observing.
observing, I get the thought, I have a work thing due tomorrow. I hear that thought, but then I don't think about actually doing the work thing. It passes. When I get that good idea, like, oh, here's good song title to write. How do I not get re-engaged with that thought, or is that okay then?
It's okay if you wanted to, because you're the God of your universe. And eventually you get to the point where you don't even make an evaluation like you just did.
You're just enjoying the
You just
scenery.
like enjoying the scenery, you know? It's like you're not even going, wow, look at that chick, she's really hot, or look at that cloud formation, or because the moment you evaluate, because there's no wrong or right, there's just experience. The moment you start evaluating, you're engaging now, and you're pulling yourself out of the silence, and you're getting into the game of life. What we want to do is null everything out.
How did you use this to manifest and hit record?
When I was writing some music for one of my records, particularly the one Good to Go, I remember that I have a number one jazz hit record on Billboard. Notice I didn't say
Before it even happened.
before it even happened,
Yeah.
before I even wrote it,
Yes.
before I even wrote it. And I didn't say I want to. Want to is a goal, and it also admits that you have not yet achieved it. The thought universe, you can manifest things pretty quickly and instantly, but in the more raw, organic, physical universe, those things take a little time. So we don't want to enter the physical universe when we're initially designing anything. We want to design it in our universe as an already done deal, not as I want to do it. So when you state something without time, you're entering the universe, let there be light, right? Not like, I want to have light. Where is it?
Did you were saying I have this hit record or this hit song.
Yeah, and you can get as detailed as you want or just general. I have a hit number one record on the Billboard charts, and you can even add more modifiers to
Mhm.
that, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then you hold it there, because the secret to manifestation is it has to be laser precise and stay there. If it becomes alloyed with counter thoughts, other people saying, well,
Like
yeah,
how am I
it
going to do it?
could be somebody else going, well, yeah, nice try. It's really hard to have a hit record, John. Or any counter thought. You may have a counter thought that go, well, yeah, I've never had a hit record yet, so I don't know why I even thought of that. It doesn't matter. Any counter thought from within or from without will take the wind out of that manifestation potential. There's no way you can think of two thoughts at the same time. You can think of them sequentially. You have to recognize that there's this counter thought coming into your universe, and you have to immediately uh, reapply the original thought. It could be, I love my puppy. So let's say you go,
Hmm.
I have a hit record, and all of a sudden something comes into the universe, whether, and you recognize it, and you got to go, you got to obliterate that right away
I
and
just thought of,
substitute.
okay, so this is kind of cool because I just thought of how I'm going to write a great song. I've got a number one hit song on the pop charts. It just beat out Taylor Swift. Oh, but I don't have kind of not young enough or beautiful enough. Okay, my puppy is cute. My puppy, Fluffy. All of a sudden,
Exactly.
I get this song title, Fluffy.
Well, that could be a tangential result of that, but the main thing is anything to get rid of that thought so it doesn't usurp your
Well, I'm
energy.
saying it's a good thing. My
Yeah,
Fluffy's a number one hit song. It just beat out Taylor Swift. Who knows what
right,
the heck it's about? I'm gonna
right,
write Fluffy.
exactly.
Anywho, sorry, John.
No, it's all right.
But I'm only asking because it's very challenging. What would you say to those who are like, this is just another law of attraction, positive thinking?
The general answer is I could say yes. However, most people don't know how to use the law of attraction. I call it the laws of cause and effect, which is a little bit better. The whole idea of law of attraction is like energy attracts like energies. As everybody thinks it's just positive thinking, I am going to do this and think positive. If you say I have a hit record on the Billboard jazz charts and you believe in it, there's where faith comes in.
I like the word faith because a lot of the religious people who they'll feel like they're not worthy enough. Where's the faith that you are good enough? He created you, if that's what you believe. Why wouldn't
Exactly.
he, if he's a loving God, want to do that for you? Why not you? Where's the faith?
Yeah, faith is an actually incredible, important commodity in this formula. If you got into a taxi cab and he goes, what do you want to do? And you clearly said, you're in New York City, I want to go down to the village and go to Carnegie Deli. He goes, okay, you got it. Very clear. Puts up starts going. Then about 2 blocks, you go, I don't know if I'm not that hungry. Can you bring me back to my hotel? Yeah, he'll humor you. Okay, no problem. Turns around. And you keep doing that, there's a point where that guy's going to throw you out of his car. So if what you want is not laser precise or it's not your predominant thought, well, I don't really think I could ever have a hit record. Wait a minute, he doesn't really have faith. He now's not sure. So it's like the cab driver is constantly driving you all over the place and you're never getting anywhere. The
Yeah.
cab driver is actually cooler because he'll throw you out.
Why do you think so many fail to create the lifestyle they desire, that they want?
First of all, two reasons. They either A, don't even create or mock that up and even know it's happening, or if they do create it, meaning they do have a vision of it, the predominant thought doesn't stay there. So it doesn't start manifesting. It gets covered up and covered up and covered up and covered up.
So our eyes are closed and we're not meditating, we're just watching thoughts, and we're focusing on my hit record, what it's going to sound like on the radio. And I get a thought like I'm supposed to, have taken the trash out because it's Wednesday morning. I just let it go by.
You get rid of that negative thought, you substitute the correct thought. Now, you have to learn how to be disciplined enough to focus your thoughts and keep them focused. Because if you don't, that original idea, that goal, that desire that you stated not as a goal, but as something that's already been achieved, that's where faith comes in. And then that's where gratitude comes in, even though it has not manifested in the physical universe. That's the hard
Hmm.
part for people to do.
Well, that's like when I'm rock climbing. I give thanks for being safe on top of the mountain before I even get there, even if it's never been climbed before.
You're already doing it.
The
That's it.
gratitude is very important. Whoever's helping you out, whatever you call it. Run me back again, though, when you were actually doing this for real to get a hit song.
The next part of the formula is do. Do is your decisions in your activities that will support that B, which is your vision that you stated, right? Your hit record.
Mhm.
It's your decisions and actions that support that. Your decisions and your activities, if you keep clean and clear and focused, you will come up with these natural
Oh,
things that support it.
that's when the thoughts will, the happy thoughts, the inspiring thoughts, the ideas.
And the focus thoughts, the things that are supposed to, rather than all the, like, I don't hardly ever get counter thoughts anymore. When I do, I state it, and then all the do starts happening. All my thoughts,
You
the
get an idea, like I should do this, or this would be something good to do.
so 2 days later, you may get a phone call from Andy, who was a friend of yours from the past. Hey, John, how you doing? I saw your name. I thought I'd say, hey, Andy, how's it going? What are you doing? Well, I'm working on a new record. Oh, wow, that's really interesting. I have a new job at Capitol Records. Hey, let's
Right.
get together. Why did Andy call you? Luck?
Yeah.
Serendipity? You're focused, clear, focused faith on your original B. Most people in life work backwards. Geez, if I had a lot of money, I'd be able to do this, and then I would be somebody. No, you have to be what you want to have first. If you were rowing upstream and Niagara Falls was behind you about 200 yards, which is death going over the falls, and you were rowing and your goal was to get to this little oasis, you got this current. Well, you got to keep rowing, right? If you got distracted with, well, let me scratch my, yeah, well, look at that. Next thing you know, you're over the falls, right?
Yeah.
So most people can't keep a focused thought. I got a top 100 jazz survey and I put it into my computer and I replaced the number one tune with the song I was writing. So every day I looked at, and my song was Good to Go, and I looked at it just as a very support thing. And I saw, oh, Good to Go is number one. It just helped keep me focused. So I'm rowing towards that oasis.
You had faith in it. You
Right.
believed it.
Any counter thought, counter emotion, counter idea from within, or your best friend says, hey, John, it's really tough out there now. You're going to have to write something more commercial than that. And you
Mhm.
agree with it when he's taking the wind out of your original sails, right? And it could be really subtle, so subtle that you don't even know it when it happens. Most people have trouble with abundance in many areas, not only money, but specifically with money. They're living paycheck to paycheck. They don't. It becomes a disease of what I call scarcity. So if you have the disease of lack or the disease of scarcity in your mindset, you're not going to attract and make correct decisions to move towards abundance because we're human. These counter thoughts and counter feelings and emotions are going to come into play. Now, the old school psychoanalyst, which I don't agree with, is to go back into time and find every blessed thing that caused you to be this person. Well, that could be forever.
Some people say I felt good after your therapy and it worked.
It felt good only because they paid for somebody to listen to them for a minute.
Okay.
That's all.
Yeah. No, I agree. You'll just keep breaking down and finding bad stuff and finding excuses for why it's not happening now.
Yeah, and all that time you could be focused on the activity of that dream
Yeah.
that you want.
You can't really prove this other than apply it in your own life.
Exactly.
See it work. It works for me.
We all have areas where we are effortless, and there's other areas of our life that we can't confront and are difficult, and there's a lot of effort.
So speaking of ups and downs, what has been your biggest letdown in your music career? And then how did you maybe come back from it using those principles?
Well, early on, I had this thing happen, which is quite strange. I'm like 16 or 17 years old, and I'm already in a band, experimenting, having fun with music, not thinking of it as a business, just enjoying it. And there was a big snowstorm, and some famous producer, he was driving from New York City to Cleveland. I'm in Erie, Pennsylvania, this small little hamburger town playing at the
I'm from
Ramada Inn.
Cleveland.
Oh, that's pretty interesting. So The snowstorm was so bad he pulls off Route 90 and goes down into Erie, Pennsylvania. And he goes to this hotel and he's really fried. He's going to go to bed, but yeah, maybe I'll go downstairs and get a drink. I'm in the band, I'm the musical director, and the owner, the manager says, well, why don't you go home? There's nobody here. It's a blizzard outside. So we're about ready to go home, and this big bus load comes in, and a whole bunch of people come in. The manager goes, no, no, you got to play. Go back on stage. So I don't know it, but this guy in a Corvette that pulled in there came down and was having a drink and listening to my band. And he thought, wow, that's really interesting. This band's really incredible. So he walks up to me after the song was done, after we were done with the break. He goes, are you guys signed? I didn't even know what that meant. We were just a band having fun. And I said, well, I don't know. What do you mean? He goes, to a record deal. I said, no. He goes, well, you are now. All right. So get to the answer to your question. 3 weeks later, we get a record contract in the mail. I have to bring it to an attorney. And next thing you know, month after that, we're being driven up. We drive up to Erie from Cleveland to Erie is 2 hours. So we're driving up and recording a single. In my days, you did a single first, not a whole record. All right, everything's going good. It's too easy. I get in a band. We get discovered. It's like, wow. And next thing you know, it's number 3 on the radio charts in the tri-state area of New York, Pennsylvania, and Ohio. Everything's going easy. I don't even know that it's not supposed to be like that. It just is. Next thing you know, our singer, unbeknownst to us, 6 months earlier, had joined the National Guard, and they called him for duty, and he couldn't get out of it. Well, when a band loses their lead singer, that's about it. Even though I'm the keyboard player, musical director, they found out that he had to go in, and they didn't want to wait, and we lost our record deal. That was the biggest. It spun me into a why? Why did you
Yeah.
give this to me so easy and then take it away and for like 3 or 4 weeks? But then I realized what the reason was. If I had a big hit record, I might have also, who knows, got into serious drugs and money and messed me up, and I wouldn't be the person that I am because I'm a very well-trained musician that I probably wouldn't have been.
Well, I
So,
guess it comes back to the faith too.
yeah,
I'm climbing the mountain. I'm halfway up. It was feeling good to go this way. All of a sudden, I'm stuck. And then you realize that
I think it was a test of faith.
test of faith. You need to go down temporarily because there's a big storm coming. And the storm cleared. And when the storm came, it knocked off a big rock that cleared the way for you to make it to the top. But if you get stuck in what's happening? This is bad. This is not what I was expecting.
Yeah, I've learned a long time ago there's no such thing as bad and good. There's just
hmm
experience.
Yeah.
And you can experience incredible growth from incredible good things, quote unquote, or incredibly bad things or anything in between if you go through life that way, and you can have a little bit of humor and lightness.
Is there anything that we haven't talked about that you'd like to add?
Well, they did an experiment once that music, composing and listening to music, had the most synapse electrical circuit activity ever.
Where I get hung up the most is I don't literally hear the inspiration. It sounds like you literally hear clear audio, like clear audio, the term for,
You mean when
like
I'm writing music? A lot of people think God is some being sitting in a cloud without somewhere in another dimension. And I wanted to make me very clear that this power, whatever you want to call it, is from within. You know, even in the Bible, the kingdom of God is within. Well, it's
it's
an inner
not I
voice.
hear, it's a thought I get, which are inner voices. You're listening to yourself.
Exactly. It's not a physical audio thought in the physical universe. It's an internal thought. And the difference is, though, can you separate your thoughts, or even your girlfriend said something to you yesterday and it's still in your head? She said
Yeah.
X. Can you separate her thought and your thought from this higher self thought?
Now, to summarize, just briefly, the step-by-step process, I'm going to close my eyes. You're not distracted. You're going to focus on, we don't like the word goal. What do you want? A relationship, a partner?
But whatever it is, you state what you want as an already done, achieved,
Has a done
So if
deal.
your goal is to be healthy, you don't say that. You say, I am healthy. My body is working perfectly. You state it as if you already achieved it. That's step one.
Comes into mind, but my back hurts. I can feel the pain. So then I need a thought substitution.
You're right. So then if you get any counter thoughts, at the moment you get the counter thought to that, the pushback, as I call
Hmm.
it, then you have to either A, restate the original thought, I am healthy, my body's working perfectly, repetitively every time it comes up,
Every time I get a shoot, my back pain shoots. I say I'm healthy.
whatever.
It shoots.
Yeah.
I keep going with it.
Some people say that that's denial. Well, it is if you don't have a methodology on it. If you know the difference between the thought universe and the physical universe, that pain is in the physical universe, but you want in the thought universe no pain. So that's why you have to state the ideal I am. And the best time to do it is in the hypnagogic state, which is defined as the state right before you fall asleep or right when you wake up in the morning. Why? Because the analytical mind is almost nulled out and you're implanting this affirmation into the subconscious mind, which is hooked up to the so you want to fall asleep with this ideal goal implanted into your subconscious mind. Most people go to bed worrying about stuff and implant that stuff into their mind.
Okay, so next, I think it's maybe that's all I needed. Because next, I'm picturing myself I have back pain and I'm going to sleep. It's still hurting, but I'm literally falling asleep as I keep repeating, I am healthy. I am healthy.
And imagining that you are healed,
I picture it in my head.
you're using your imagination, which is within a power that we have. Your imagination can create anything. You imagine, and then the third step is give advanced gratitude,
Oh,
which engages that power, the ultimate power within, to help you finish it.
perfect. I might wake
Yeah.
up in the morning and all of a sudden get this thought like, what if I did this back exercise or went to this chiropractic? An
Or you
idea
might
that,
be online looking around now and you see an advertisement on the side about this holistic guy and you start researching it and your
right?
inner voice that you're now hooked up to says, hey, and you call him up and you, oh my God, I just found the guy that helped me do this. Or it could just magically go away. You got to be open to everything.
Why do you think it's so important, the thankful part? Is it a feedback loop maybe to yourself?
It's easy to have gratitude for something you've already achieved, right? You win the lottery. Hey, thanks. That's easy. But to thank in advance when you haven't achieved it activates your faith. For some reason, faith is the energy.
What's on your schedule next? Do you go, are you,
Well, I'm going to write another. I haven't since pre-COVID. I haven't done. I have two different bands that were doing really well. Two new CDs, and next year I'll probably go back on tour.
this has been great, John.
Thank you for having me. It's been a fun discussion.
I've been around the block in terms of all this. I've firewalked, done every high woo-woo thing you could think about. But,
I was a math and physics major in college, and
oh,
ended up being a musician. How
well, we
crazy is
didn't
that?
talk. We didn't get that part in there.
No.
I
Uh-uh.
thought you're just born at 3 and is out of the womb with, I'm going to be a.
No, I stayed in music. Yeah, I mean, my main claim to fame and my main activity has always been composing, playing, and teaching.
I think the most important thing would make the world a happier place. People did what they really want to do. That doesn't mean a big purpose, a life, a career, but it could just mean I'm going to Australia for a week. I don't know
It
why.
could be I'm an auto mechanic. I like sewing. Whatever it is, what's
Exactly.
your passion?
I think the world would be so much happier. Thanks, John. Have a
Take
great day.
care. Bye.
So when I was in Nashville recently, I wrote a song with a guy named Wade Quinton that I think goes perfect with this video. It's called I See You. I could give you I see you, and I believe you can do anything, everything you need's inside of you. I see you, I see you. I could grant you every wish, I could give you my love. Yeah, I could teach you how to fish, I could even fix your truck. Yeah, life is tough, doesn't have to be. I don't believe in love, but I'd like to see you happy, everything you need's in you. 'Cause I see you, and I believe you can do anything, everything you need's inside of you. I see you, I see you. Yeah, I see my neighbors and I see America. I see everyone laughing, smiling, free, and I see you. I see you, and I believe you can do anything, everything you need's inside of you. I see you, I see you. I could give you money, I could give you fear, I could give you the shirt off my back, everything you need's in